Hey guys, back with another video, and today, you see my little Drac? That's my Dracula right there. All right, TBR, November TBR. So, most, I'm gonna say most of my books are audiobooks, and I say most because I have one book that is gonna be for sure on my November TBR, and I have the audiobook for it, and I also have my hard copy. And that book is Along Bright River by Liz Moore. I don't know if I put this on a TBR yet, but if I did, well, now it's back on a TBR because, of course, I didn't finish it or even started it if it was on a previous TBR. Now I have been reading it, and I am on page 232, so literally halfway done. I've been reading along with this with the audiobook, but there's just so much to read for class. This might be the only book that I actually physically put up, or I said put up, haha. It's late at night, I'm sorry. But this might be the only physical book that I actually pick up to read. um, this book is about a detective who is in a precinct where I'm trying to figure out how to say this without giving away any details. Something happens. Something happens to someone she loves, and she also works in that same precinct. All right, I like the way I said that. She is a single mom, and it talks about her being a single mom. It talks about her relationship with her ex-husband, who was is also a detective, but that relationship, okay, I'm not even gonna say nothing else about that relationship because that's part of the juicy meat of this book. So I'm gonna let y'all read it. I'm not giving it away. This is definitely like Law and Order, Criminal Intent mixed with Law and Order SVU. I believe it's a good mixture. I believe it's a good mixture, but really good book. Okay. So the reason why I think it's a good mixture is because the case that they are working on is definitely Law and Order SVU. The stuff about her relationship and it being like a whole case by itself that people trying to figure out, and the people up in the precinct, like the police officers, there's like, a whole case with that alone, which has something to do with her and her ex-husband. That is a case in and of itself. That's like criminal intent right there. Okay, next. Okay, let me see. Next, we have The Invisible Life of Adia LaRue. Okay. I also have a hard copy of this. It's in the bedroom. I forgot to bring it out. I forgot. Actually, as a matter of fact, 3 more of these books I also have hard copies of. 2 of them are in storage, which I'm not going all the way to storage just to get 2 books when I can get the audiobooks. And one of them, well, 2 of them in bedroom, and then this one right here. And I ain't get them. I don't know why I ain't get them, but I ain't get them. So, The Invisible Life of Adia LaRue. The cover looks like so. Okay. All right. So, this book, if I'm not mistaken, look, this is late at night. I don't even know why. But if I'm not mistaken, this book is about a girl who never wanted to die. And so she's made a deal with the devil so that she can live forever. And then he pretty much follows her around and um the another part of her living forever is that she's not supposed to um have anyone in her life that remembers her. Like, everyone's memory of her is supposed to be erased. But later on down the road, years later, somebody actually does remember her, and then that becomes a problem, and then the devil starts to like tug at her some more about that. So that's supposed to be an interesting story. I don't know. I can't really compare that to anything because I've never read that one. That one's new to me. Next one, this was also on a previous TBR. I don't even remember what TBR it was on, but I do remember it was on one. And I'm doing gothic horror rereads. So, of course, I have Dracula. Sometimes when I talk about this book, my dog actually thinks I'm talking to him. I'm not. Well, this is self-explanatory. I don't need to talk about Dracula. I mean, it's Dracula. Okay. It's about the best vampire ever. Okay. This book I'm currently reading now. Um, I need to hurry up and read it because um, my loan expires in a couple of days. I think it's like in 2 days, and it's really hard to get these copies back. So I'm gonna be doing a lot of listening tomorrow in between trainings and on my lunch. I say trainings, professional developments, and on my lunch, and before work after I do my Devo. So it's gonna be a lot of listening, and I got to speed up at 2, so it should be not as long for me to listen to. But this book so far is really good. It's called When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole. It's a thriller. This book so far, I've been reading it. I'm only at chapter 2, but it's a lot that takes place just in the first chapter. Like, they waste no time whatsoever. This definitely qualifies as a thriller, not as a horror, in my eyes, not as a horror, like blood and guts horror, but it's definitely a thriller. Like, it's anxiety risen, it's intense, like it's crazy, all of that just in the first chapter. This is a thriller that I think can be political, but not, I don't know how to describe it because I don't want to say some words that really don't describe it, but I'm trying to get my thoughts out. It's definitely racial issues are at the core of this novel. Um, I'm trying to think. Chapter 1 touches a lot on racial issues and anxiety and not being seen and how it can cause like low self-esteem. Um, it's it touches on how there are conversations had by other races in front of, like, very boldly in front of black people, and in a way to where it's like black people are beneath them. It raises fear and anxiety and all of that stuff, like all of those emotions. But that's just all in the first chapter. I don't even know how the rest of this book, obviously, because I just started reading it. I don't know how the rest of this book is gonna go, but so far, it's really good. It's really good. It's just really good. So I can't wait to finish it. Um, yeah, it's really good. I think I showed the cover already. Um, I'm liking it so far, and if I could just give a rating based off just the first chapter alone, it would be a 5 out of 5. It's really good. And I'm super picky about my books, even if it's a book that has to do with like race related issues. I'm still extremely picky about stuff. So for me to like it that much in the first chapter, I find it really good. And now, of course, this author's written a lot of stuff and don't need me to be like, oh, she liked my stuff, so that mean it gotta be good. They probably like, whatever, girl. Um, this is the next book is Flight or Fright, and I do believe I talked about this in another TBR as well, but I didn't get a chance to read it at all. But I'm like 54 seconds into I'm in 54 seconds into it. But this is read by many people, but this is 17 Turbulent Tales. So these are all horror stories, pretty much based on people being in airplanes. And it's edited by Stephen King and Bev Vincent. So, and these stories, I believe, also have multiple authors as well. And Stephen King is one of those authors. I don't like flying no way, so why not hear more horror stories about it, right? That's just how I think, right? All right, next book is The Turn of the Key. I have no idea what this book is about, but I was recommended this book. Well, I was recommended the TV show by my husband. And of course, if he's recommending a TV show to me, it's got to be good, right? But before I watch any TV show, I need to know if there are books that go with it. Now, do I read every book that goes with every TV show? No. Case in point, Vampire Diaries. I know there's a bunch of those books for TV shows, but everybody and their mama who loves the books hates the TV show. Everybody who loves the TV show hates the book. One is not like the other. And it's not the same way as the True Blood books and the True Blood TV show, to where one is not like the other, but they have the same theme and the core of the story is the same. It is just completely different from what from what I've heard, from what I've read, the reviews that I've read, other YouTube reviews that I've seen. It's just completely different. And the book is not as good as the show. There are some people who like the books more than the show, but I haven't come across too many. So I'm just like, The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware. I have not heard one bad review. I have not read one bad review, and the TV show seems to be doing very well. So I want to read the book first. And before it even became a TV show, I got the book from Book of the Month, and I just had not had a chance to pick it up. But as soon as my husband recommended it to me, I was like, oh, that sounds very familiar. And then I realized that I had the book. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and read the book. It's supposed to be a book about keys and how the keys lead into something. And based on the preview of the movie, there's like a key in the back of the neck that you unlock and it takes you somewhere. At least it was like, I think the key goes in the back of the neck of the little boy. The little boy is supposed to be like an anchor to something. I don't know. I don't even know. But that sounded creepy and disturbing. So it was right up my alley. You know what I mean? All right. And then the last book, because I loved Lock. Okay, so I'm gonna say Lock. I loved Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. So, and I have all of Riley Sager's books because Book of the Month put them all out. I didn't even realize that I had them all. I was like, oh no, Home Before Dark is my first Riley Sager book. No. I also got this from Book of the Month, but I had not had a chance to pick it up. Because that's just, how busy school life has been keeping me. And then sometimes I just forget what books I have because Lord knows I have too many. But since my husband told me that I can't be buying all these books, and I can't be buying no more books. I can't even go to Goodwill and buy dollar books no more. He told me I got to start reading books that I got here. So we here, you know what I'm saying? And we're reading Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. This book is supposed to be about a girl, I believe it is, who apartment sits for a realtor, not even necessarily a person who's like moved away, but it's supposed to be she's apartment sitting for a realtor. And the building is supposed to be some like old fashioned haunted building. And excuse me, she's house sitting for it, and like crazy stuff just starts to happen, and it's supposed to be only on that floor of the building complex. And so ghost stories is what it sounds like to me. And I mean, I love his book Home Before Dark, so I'm all for this one being just as good. I've read some mixed reviews, but even the mixed reviews weren't like, oh, this is a really bad book. It was just like, oh, it's a really good book, just not for me, and I won't read it again, sort of thing. But that's usually people who don't like that type of horror that makes them jumpy. Um, so those are all of my books on my audio. Yep. So it is Long Bright River, Invisible Life of Audie LaRue, Dracula, When No One Is Watching, Flight or Fright, The Turn of the Key, and Lock Every Door. Okay, that's all on my Overdrive. On Hoopla, when it opens, I can tell you. Okay, on Hoopla, I have one comic that I have on here, and it also needs to be read in the next 2 days. Bruh. All right, this is called Witches, but comics are super, super like fast paced because they're short. So this is Witches. It is volumes 1 through 6. And it is, let's see, let's read this little snippet. When the Rooks family moves to the remote town of Litchfield, New Hampshire to escape a haunting trauma, they're hopeful about starting over, but something evil is waiting for them in the woods just beyond the town, watching from the trees, ancient and hungry. So, I actually picked this one because it was on a book recommendation from a YouTuber that I follow. Next is also a comic, but this one is by Joe Hill. It's called Basket Full of Heads. I like Joe Hill's writing, surprisingly, because pretty much everybody who likes his dad doesn't like him, or they like him and not his dad, Stephen King. So I like them both. Let's see. Let's see what this says. It says Joe Hill, the horror mastermind behind Nosferatu and Lock and Key, arrives at DC with the twisted tale of June Branch, trapped with 4 cunning criminals who have snatched her boyfriend for deranged reasons of their own. Now she must fight for her life with the help of an impossible 8th century Viking axe that can pass through a man's neck in a single swipe and leave the severed head still conscious and capable of supernatural speech. Each disembodied head has a malevolent story of its own to tell, and it isn't long before June finds herself in a desperate struggle to hack through their lies and manipulations racing to save the man she loves before time runs out. But is June Branch a woman fighting for her life, or a deranged ex murderer with a basket full of paranoid fantasies? The truth is even more horrifying than a basket full of heads. Enough said. Um, there. These are all comics because honestly, if it's not an audiobook, it has to be a comic because I don't have time. I don't have time, bro. All right, this one is called The Lolo Woods by Carmen Maria Machado. Okay, here we go. Shudder to Think, Pennsylvania, has been on fire for years. The coal mines beneath it are long since abandoned. The woods are full of rabbits with human eyes, a deer woman who stalks hungry girls, and swaths of skinless men. And the people in Shudder to Think, well, they're not doing well either. When Elle and Octavia wake up in a movie theater with no memory of the last few hours of their lives, the two teen dirtbags, oh my goodness, bring a surreal and terrifying journey to discover the truth about the strange town they call home. Like so many women in Shudder to Think before them, all they have is a void where the truth once was. But as time passes, Elle finds herself needing to know more about what has happened, while Octavia wants nothing more than to forget the forgetting. Can these two teens reconcile their differences before the horrible things lurking beneath their town emerge and swallow them whole? This sounds like some Stranger Things type, but Stranger Things do have their own comic books, so there's that. Then we have Dollhouse, or The Dollhouse Family. I think this was also on another TBR. On Alice's 6th birthday, her dying great aunt sent her the birthday gift she never knew she always wanted: a big, beautiful 19th century dollhouse, complete with a family of antique dolls. In no time at all, the dollhouse isn't just Alice's favorite toy, it's her whole world. As soon as young Alice learns she can enter the house to visit a new group of friends, straight out of a heartwarming children's novel, The Dollhouse Family. But while the Dollhouse family welcomes her with open arms, in the real world, her family life is becoming much more complicated. And deep within the dollhouse twisting halls, the Black Room waits with an offer to Alice. The house can fix all this, the Black Room says. All she has to do is say the words. From there unfolds a twisty, surreal, multi-generational horror tale that echoes into centuries past, into Alice's tormented future, and into the beating heart of madness that makes up our world, literally. That just sounds deranged, so that's right up my alley. All right, and then there is one, actually there's two other audiobooks. One is called Disfigured, and this is pretty much going to be one of many really good reads that I read. This one is good for a different way. So, Disfigured, it says, fairy tales shape how we see the world. So what happens when you identify more with the beast than the beauty? If every disabled character is mocked and treated, how does the beast ever imagine a happy ever after? Amanda Leduc looks at fairy tale Leduc. Is it Leduc? I think it's Leduc. Amanda Leduc looks at fairy tales from the Brothers Grimm to Disney, showing how they influence our expectations and behavior, and linking the quest for disability rights to new kinds of stories that celebrate difference. So I say this is going to be one of the best books because it's going to be different. Now, will I agree with their findings? Not sure. But I'm interested because that's what the cover looks like. Because not many people do have fairy tale. Well, I want to say not many people because I don't know how. I mean, it's your usual fairy tales. There's Aesop fables. There's the Grimm brother fairy tales, like their version of the fairy tales. And then there's the Disney version, and then you have like, you know, the Chinese version, the there's another version. I can't think of it right now, but I know for sure that there's Chinese versions of the fairy tales because we have some in our school. But you don't hear about, other than the Hunchback of Notre Dame, and that was from Disney. There's not much on disability and representation of disabled people in fairy tales. So it's interesting. The other audiobook is Witnessing Whiteness, the Need to Talk About Race and How to Do It. I mean, that in and of itself is a description of itself. I'm reading this because some coworkers of mine have read it, and I'm just interested in what it's about, because there is a lot of discussion about race. So, you know, why not? And then the last book I have is an actual book, so I probably won't get to it because this is a very long and ambitious TBR. Granted, most of this is going to be played into my ear, so I don't have to sit down and like look at a book. I can be listening while I'm doing other stuff around the house, which is great. And even when I'm doing my art homework. So, you know, that's going to be great, but I'm not sure about this one. It's a novella. It's 176 pages, so it's not going to be long, but it's called The Hellbound Heart. I'm not going to show the cover because the cover is a little exotic. But it is by Clive Barker. It's supposed to be a really good book. It's actually been on my TBR for 6 or 7 months now. So hopefully I can get to it. If not, I'll probably try to get to it in December. Anyway, this says Frank Cotton's insatiable appetite for the dark pleasures of pain led him to the puzzle of Lemarchand's box. And from there to a death only a sick-minded soul could invent. But his brother's love-crazied wife, Julia, has discovered a way to bring Frank back through the price will be bloody and terrible, and there will certainly be hell to pay. So it sounds like some necromancy stuff. People dying and being brought back to life. I believe that's what necromancy is. If not, then I just gave y'all the wrong word with the definition of the word that I'm trying to think of. So that's like a lot of books that I probably not going to get to all of them, but I'm probably for sure going to get to the audiobooks. Disfigured is an audiobook, and Whiteness is an audiobook that goes with the 8 audiobooks that's on my Overdrive. This app is Hoopla. I don't know if you can see right up there, but that app is Hoopla. And Hoopla and Overdrive both go through the public library system. But for some reason I can check out 10 books on one and 15 on the other, and they're not even the same books. So I can check out a lot of books at once. But anywho, that is my November TBR. Sorry, I don't have that many hardback or paperback books physical copy books that I will be reading. But yeah, it's going to mainly be an audiobook month for me. I just have a lot of work to do. And then the holidays are coming up. So, you know, it is what it is. Home skillets. You know what I'm saying? All right. So, that's all I got for y'all. That's all I got. It's late. I'm tired. So, this is tired me. But, till next time. Bye.